Well, welcome back for another episode, Spirit Bus 33 fam. Jyotishamara here. Once again, excited to take a little trip with you, expanding our consciousness, learning how to become our favorite versions of ourselves, living more in the now, all while embarking on this wild, wondrous earth experience. Join me each week-ish as we evolve together, exploring Toltec, holistic, interdimensional, spiritual minded thinking and practices.
Your spiritual beings having a human experience.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for, right now, I would have normally said, thank you for spending your precious energy here with me. Delete. Because the word spending, it can mean taking away, draining, reducing. So I would like to rephrase to be impeccable with my word, my magic. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on the same station, the same frequency as I am. And thank you for taking a little trip with me. As always, let's start off with a little slow down, a little attunement. I invite you to get into a comfortable position, sitting, standing. Notice your posture. Allow your intuition to guide you as to how your body needs to sit right now or stand right now. Take a few deep breaths. Next, I invite you to imagine in your mind's eye, your hands being full of energy, all that is needed for everything that you intend to do today. Imagine your hands at this moment. They're drawing in the wisdom of your healed ancestors, of source, your spirit guides, your animal guides, angels, all and every entity being, enter in your own words here, that are here guiding you, loving you, supporting you through your earth experience. Rub your hands together, feeling the energy get stronger, and then I invite you to tap right, left, or left, right. Trust your intuition back and forth, starting at the top of your head, down to the places on your avatar that you feel aligned, all the way down to your toes. Engage in this bilateral stimulation. Keep in your mind's eye the energy that you choose to download into your body. And as you get all the way down to your toes, start back up through your avatar, ending right on your third eye. Pause the audio, do your thing. Come back to the rest later after you get it done. Give your nervous system a little bit of some, managing tension, moving towards attunement. You're guiding your nervous system away from shutdown. So it's been 2 weeks since we've taken a little trip together. I am now on level 47. Got that Virgo day of birth. I had to do some research. I had to do some mathing and I had to reach out to a loved one to remind myself what level I was on. 47. There was a time that I would have looked at that as old, a time that I looked at aging as aging. Now I prefer levels. Like all levels in games, school, etc., there's challenges and also excitement, and both true for me. But that's not what this trip is about. What keeps coming to me over the last 2 weeks is connection. What are we connected to? Who are we connected to? And how do those connections produce different masks? Take a moment, just answer to yourself. Who are you connected to? What are you connected to? We have the free will to be connected to fill in the blank. Some might say family, partner, my this, my that, my label. Are these your authentic connections? Obligation, connection. And how many of our connections are programmed by shaping experiences, media, traumas, collective pressures? And how do these connections result in different masks? And how can we take the masks off? Of course, we might have different parts of us that come out dependent on who we're with. I might change my station when I'm with one person versus another. One gets 91.1 FM, the other 93.3 AM. Both are authentic. But what about the masks that are not? What about the areas where the mask is BS? Some parts we are unaware of, and we're going to move on from that. The awareness will come as needed. But the areas where we are aware, well, welcome to Earth School, where if you are wearing a mask made out of bullshit, you're going to find out. So limited awareness, we're going to call that class 101, sitting with limited awareness. Class 202, you're going to start to gain awareness that you're connected to labels, ideas, people, places, masks, that, well, they're out of alignment. The awareness starts to become louder. Perhaps you start to notice patterns, sensations in your body, echoes in your experiences. Class 303, you gather information, and then gather more information. You're deciphering what mask is what, decoding patterns, learning about yourself, saying goodbye to some, aligning with some others. Class 404, action steps. You're taking everything that you learned from 303, everything that you gathered, and you're putting them into action steps, and you're learning the discipline of action. You might fall off and go back into class 303. It's okay. There's a door in between both. They share a bathroom. Class 505, it's right around the corner. It's adapting, maintaining everything that you've learned in all of your action steps. You're revising. You realize in 505 that you can be a walking contradiction to others. You can be vast like the starry sky. The importance is that you are not an unaligned walking contradiction to yourself. Because then enter in shame, guilt, self-medicating, unhealthy coping mechanisms, just some of the possible warning signs of being out of alignment, of being an unaligned contradiction to self. Not all contradictions are out of alignment, though. Here's just a very basic example. I believe that fabrics such as hemp, wool, cotton, silk, linen, they carry a healthier frequency and energy, opposed to maybe rayon, polyester, etc. But I still have clothing made out of rayon and polyester. I still have a connection to the clothing that contradicts my belief. Because it's not authentic? No. Because I'm not on that chapter yet. I have a mental sticky note present there, and that chapter is going to come. Do those fabrics that I'm not aligned with impact bodies negatively? Perhaps. Is it impacting my body negative? Perhaps. But I also have faith that I'm exactly at the chapter I'm intended to be at. Class 202 with that specific topic. At other topics, I'm at 505, 404, 303, 101. And I'm currently aligned with the contradiction. And I'm working on others at this moment that I'm not aligned with. Yet clothing, though, clothing is but a mask. It's real for Earth School. Many masks are just for here, for learning, for expanding. Awareness, though, awareness is the key for expanding. Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., The Mastery of Self. It is in all of these instances that you practice the art of awareness, which can bring you back to the truth, the real you, the authentic self, so much more than any mask can portray. Anytime you forget this truth and think a mask is real, suffering and delusion aren't far away. So then, if I take this belief about the frequency of fabric and condemn anyone that prefers rayon, then I'm just stepping into a different mask. The mask that my reality is right and you are wrong, that somehow my research, my judgment, my ego. The same goes for what I believe to be true when it comes to spirituality, to government, etc. These masks they're so real in the egoic mind, in the earth-focused mind, that we get lost. Delusion starts to set in. These results can have grave consequences. Or perhaps, for those keyboard warriors out there, just a little bit of thumb down clicking. Truth is the key here. My truth might look different than yours, and that's okay. If I have to mask so much to be around you, then we're likely not on the same station. We can move ourselves to a different station, and it doesn't mean that the person's bad. We can click on a different video. Doesn't mean that the other video is bad. That person, that video, that fill in the blank is going to match another person's frequency. No hard feelings. So doing no harm while we learn the dance of unmasking. Now, if you're doing the dance and you keep having to cha-cha the other way, and this becomes a pattern that contains suffering, perhaps you have the mask of trauma embedded inside you. The nervous system can mask, the brain, the heart. They can mask for protection when the threat is not even there anymore. Example, the harm of an abusive father who's now elderly and really poses no real threat. The avatar is a complex system, tries to keep you safe, and it can go into high alert, this overactive state telling you that you are still not safe. Time to work on your mind, your neural pathways, your body, your nervous system, your belief system. In my reality, in my opinion, the belief system is so important. It can be anything. Organized religion, if that's your jam, being kind, talking to trees. It provides help with the rewire of trauma. I enjoy getting messages from birds, getting wisdom from trees. I believe that Source can speak through every encounter, especially through numbers. I follow many, many breadcrumbs. Unmasked, me, might look delusional to you. That's okay. People don't have to get it. As long as there's no harm, play on, playa. Earth School awaits. A 3-card reading from Osho deck. The first card, completion. We are always in this natural flow state of working through certain expanding chapters and then coming to some sort of completion. When I described the classes of, class 101, 202, 303, we're in those classes simultaneously. We may be in class 101 for many things that we're not aware of as to what we're going to be working on. They're kind of in a waiting room. 202, we have awareness, but we haven't yet started to gather information. We're in 505, we're in on many different things at once. And some of them we are in 505 and we are in the state of completion. So I invite you to just take a little bit of self-inventory and recognize, where you're in class 505. And maybe you have to look back at your 5-year ago self to check in and to really recognize the growth, recognize the obstacles that you've overcome, the expanding, the masks that you no longer wear, the ones that you've kind of thrown away, they're in some landmine or someplace that is no longer existent. Next card is new vision. With every completion, we kind of start this new vision, this new level of awareness that was in that waiting room. And sometimes while it's in the waiting room, we think we kind of have an idea of it. But when the awareness actually kicks on, it looks nothing like we thought. These are, very magical classes that we're in here. And so being ready for that new vision, that new course of action, being a learner always. Everyone is our teacher if we decide, if we choose to, if we have the free will to look at it that way. And when we do look at everyone as our teacher, thus humbleness comes about. The ego, has a hard time thriving when we stand in that humble approach. The blade of grass can be your teacher. Fabric can be your teacher. The last card, laziness. I'm not really fond of the word lazy, but for this card, I kind of replace that opinion of mine. I look at it more as freeze mode, since I look things through a trauma lens, through a spiritual lens, is that we can become in freeze mode. There can be all these things that we do have awareness of that needs to be worked on to really thrive, but we'll kind of sit in this freeze mode, this just good enough mode, just get it by, but then where it's paired with all of this suffering. Because if you're in this space and you feel good, homie, be good. But if you're in this space and you just are having this persistent negative kind of energy, this persistent unwell, persistent unhappiness, there's probably something to do there. There's probably another round of earth classes to go through to get to that completion to then start that new vision, that new version. Thank you for taking this little trip with me. Thank you for stepping onto this bus, being here, vibing with me. We're on that radio station 93.3. Let's see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in. Your spiritual beings having a human experience.